Ever wished you had like a network of people, almost like a support squad, ready to help you hit those goals? That's the big idea behind Never Eat Alone.
Right.
And in this deep dive, we're going to unpack its key principles
Okay.
and see what we can apply to your life.
Oh. Yeah.
So we're focusing on the book by Keith Ferrazzi and Tal Raz.
Okay.
And it's all about forming those genuine, lasting connections that can boost your success and your happiness. What's really cool is that it goes way beyond just basic networking tips.
Yeah.
We're talking about building relationships that matter.
What fascinates me about this book is how it challenges that traditional networking for gain mentality.
Yeah.
It's not about keeping score or, collecting favors.
Yeah.
It's about creating those genuine connections that are mutually beneficial.
So let's dig into that. The book really emphasizes this no score-keeping approach. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Think of it this way. When you approach relationships with a giving mindset, without expecting anything in return, you build trust.
Yeah.
It's like an unspoken agreement that says, hey, I'm here to support you. And that creates a strong foundation for a reciprocal relationship.
Yeah.
We're naturally drawn to people who are helpful and supportive, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like you're part of a community, not just someone being used for their connections.
Right.
Speaking of staying connected, the book talks a lot about pinging.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit technical, but I'm guessing it's more about human connection than anything digital.
You're right. It is.
Yeah.
Pinging is about staying on people's radar.
Okay.
Through those small, regular interactions that show you're thinking of them.
Right.
It could be as simple as sending a relevant article their way, commenting thoughtfully on their social media posts, or even just a quick, how are you doing message.
So it's less about grand gestures and more about those little reminders that say, hey, I'm here and I value our connection. Those can really make a difference, especially in a world where everyone's so busy.
Right.
Now I have to ask about the elephant in the room, or rather the title of the book, Never Eat Alone.
Yeah.
Is that meant to be taken literally?
It's both literal and symbolic, actually.
Okay.
Ferrazzi encourages us to view meals as prime networking opportunities.
Okay.
Instead of a solo sad desk lunch, why not invite a colleague or someone you'd like to connect with?
Okay.
But it goes deeper than just sharing a meal. It's about being visible.
Yeah.
And engaging at events, conferences, even social gatherings.
So like strategically putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
That can feel intimidating for some people though, right?
It can, but the book dives into the psychology behind visibility.
Okay.
And it's fascinating. Simply being present and actively participating in these settings increases your chances of making meaningful connections and even uncovering potential collaborations.
Right.
When we hide away, we become invisible.
Yeah.
And opportunities may pass us by. It's like that saying, you have to be in it to win it.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're being visible, we're pinging people, we're eating with intention. What else can we do to level up our networking game?
Yeah.
The book mentions something about becoming the king of content. Now, I'm not sure I see myself wearing a crown.
Right.
But tell me more about this king of content idea.
Well, think of it more as ruling your own personal brand kingdom.
Okay.
The book highlights the power of using social media platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook to share valuable content and establish yourself as a thought leader in your field. By consistently providing insightful and engaging content.
Okay.
You become a resource for others.
That makes a lot of sense. You attract like-minded individuals.
Right.
And organically grow your network, all while sharing your expertise.
Exactly.
But that raises a question, what kind of content should we be putting out there to really maximize our networking potential?
Right.
Should we be posting about our breakfast or something?
Hold the avocado toast pics.
The key is to share content that aligns with your interests and expertise.
Right.
Something that genuinely adds value to your audience.
Okay.
Think insightful articles, industry news, personal reflections on your work, maybe even curated content from others that you found valuable.
Yeah.
The goal is to spark conversation.
Right.
And position yourself as someone worth connecting with.
So it's not just about self-promotion.
Right.
But about being a valuable contributor to the online conversation.
Exactly.
That's a much more appealing approach. And honestly, it feels more genuine. And one of the things that really struck me about Never Eat Alone was the section where Ferrazzi shares strategies from some incredibly connected individuals, people like Winston Churchill, Bill Clinton, even the Dalai Lama. It's not every day you get networking advice from such a diverse group.
It's an incredibly insightful section of the book.
Yeah.
Ferrazzi illustrates how these influential figures mastered the art of relationship building.
Right.
And their approaches offer valuable lessons for us. For instance, Winston Churchill, despite leading during wartime, placed immense importance on forming alliances, even with those who might be considered rivals.
Wow, that's a powerful reminder that sometimes the strongest connections are forged in the face of adversity. And it also highlights the importance of looking beyond our immediate circles and seeking collaborations with those who bring different perspectives to the table.
Absolutely.
What about someone like Bill Clinton?
Yeah.
He's known for his incredible ability to connect with people on a personal level.
Clinton's approach underscores the importance of making people feel truly seen and valued. He's a master at remembering names, details about people's lives. And using that information to forge a genuine connection. It's a simple but incredibly powerful technique that leaves a lasting positive impression. It demonstrates that you're genuinely interested in the person, not just what they can do for you.
That's a great point, and it leads perfectly into another crucial element of the book. The idea of the power of generosity. It's more than just being nice. It's a deliberate approach to building strong relationships. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Generosity in the context of Never Eat Alone is about offering value up front without any expectation of immediate return. It could be sharing your knowledge, making a helpful introduction, or simply being there to lend a hand when someone needs it. Think of it as planting seeds of goodwill. You never know how those acts of kindness might blossom into something more.
That's such a great way to put it. It's about creating a positive ripple effect, But it's not just about big dramatic gestures. It can also be about those consistent smaller actions that show you care. The book talks a lot about follow-up, which can be a real game changer when it comes to solidifying connections.
You're absolutely right. Follow-up is crucial for turning those initial encounters into meaningful relationships. It could be a simple thank you note after a meeting, a LinkedIn connection request to stay in touch, or even a message referencing something you discussed that shows you were really listening. Those small actions can make all the difference.
It's like that warm feeling you get when someone remembers a small detail you shared with them. It makes you feel seen and appreciated. And speaking of being intentional, the book also emphasizes the importance of planning and strategizing your relationships. I have to admit, that sounds a bit calculated at first.
I understand that.
But I'm guessing there's a more nuanced approach to it.
You're spot on. It's not about manipulating people. It's about being mindful of the connections that truly matter to you. And taking proactive steps to cultivate those relationships. It starts with identifying key individuals who inspire you. Or who could help you achieve your goals. Then it's about creating a game plan for connecting with them authentically. This could involve attending events where they're speaking, engaging with their work online, or finding creative ways to add value to their lives.
So it's about approaching networking with a sense of purpose and intentionality. But without losing that genuine desire for connection. That makes a lot more sense to me now. You know, one of the things that often holds people back from networking is the fear of rejection. It can feel so personal, especially when you're putting yourself out there. Never Eat Alone actually addresses this head on.
Fear of rejection is completely natural. It's a deeply ingrained human response. But the book encourages us to reframe that fear and see it as a redirection rather than a failure.
That's an interesting way to look at it. So instead of seeing a no as a dead end, we can see it as an opportunity to learn, adjust our approach, and try again.
Exactly. It's about understanding that not every interaction will lead to a deep connection. And that's okay. The key is to be persistent and to keep putting ourselves out there authentically. The more we do that, the more likely we are to find those people who truly resonate with us and who can become part of our journey.
It's about building a network that's aligned with our values and goals.
Right.
And filled with people who we genuinely enjoy connecting with. Now, I want to shift gears a bit and talk about another powerful concept that Never Eat Alone highlights.
Okay.
Lifelong learning and adaptability.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious to hear how this ties into networking, because it seems like it's more about personal growth.
It's about recognizing that everyone we meet has something valuable to teach us.
Okay.
It could be a mentor, a peer, or even someone who's just starting out in their career. Each interaction holds the potential for learning and growth if we approach it with an open mind.
So it's less about seeing people as stepping stones to success,
Right.
and more about recognizing that everyone has something unique to offer. We can learn from their experiences, their perspectives, their successes, and
Oh,
even their failures.
you got it. And this mindset not only makes us more well-rounded individuals, but it also makes us more attractive as networkers.
Right.
People are drawn to those who are genuinely curious and eager to learn. It shows humility, a willingness to listen, and a desire to connect on a deeper level.
It's about approaching networking as a continuous learning experience,
Mm-hmm.
not just a means to an end. And it's a reminder that building a strong network isn't just about advancing our careers or achieving our goals.
Right.
It's about enriching our lives on a deeper level.
Couldn't agree more. It's about building a community of people who inspire us, challenge us, and support us on our journey. It's about recognizing that we're not meant to go through life alone. We're social creatures,
Yeah.
and our connections with others are what give our lives meaning and purpose.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Right.
And it reminds me that even for those who may feel intimidated by networking, there's so much to gain from building genuine connections with others.
Absolutely. And the wonderful thing is that it's never too late to start building those connections. Whether you're just starting out in your career or you've been in the workforce for years, there are always opportunities to meet new people, learn from them, and build relationships that can enrich your life in countless ways.
It's a continuous journey of discovery, connection, and growth.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of journeys, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Yeah.
But there's still so much more to explore in Never Eat Alone. There's a whole section on timeless strategies from incredibly connected individuals,
Right.
people like Winston Churchill and Bill Clinton, that I'm really excited to unpack in part 3. Welcome back to our deep dive into Never Eat Alone. I'm really excited to dig into this next part. The book delves into these timeless strategies from people who are like masters of connection,
Yeah.
folks like Winston Churchill and Bill Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
It's not every day you get networking advice from a wartime prime minister, right?
It's one of the most fascinating parts of the book, for sure.
Oh.
What struck me about Churchill was his focus on building alliances,
Mm-hmm.
even with people who might be considered rivals. He knew that to achieve huge, ambitious goals, collaboration was key. And this wasn't about sacrificing his own beliefs.
Mhm.
It was about realizing that true strength often comes from working together,
Mm-hmm.
even with people who have different viewpoints.
You know, that makes me think about how sometimes we can get stuck in our own echo chambers,
Yeah,
surrounded by people who already agree with us.
right.
But Churchill's approach is a powerful reminder that there's so much we can learn and achieve
Mm-hmm.
when we step outside of those comfort zones
Yeah.
and connect with people who challenge our perspectives.
Exactly. And it ties in perfectly with another powerful example from the book,
Okay.
Bill Clinton. He's almost legendary for his ability to remember names and details about the people he meets,
Right.
making them feel instantly seen and valued.
Yeah.
It's like he has this superpower for creating instant connections.
I know, right? I read that and thought, okay, how can I get some of that magic?
Right.
But seriously, for those of us who don't have a photographic memory, what can we learn from Clinton's approach?
It all boils down to being present, truly listening,
Okay.
and making that conscious effort to remember those little things that make each person unique.
Right.
It could be their hometown, their kids' names,
Mm.
a book they mentioned, or even just a shared interest you discovered.
Yeah.
Those tiny details, when you bring them up later, show a level of genuine interest and care
Right.
that creates a powerful bond.
That's such a great reminder that effective networking isn't about tricks or manipulation.
Right.
It's about approaching each interaction with genuine curiosity and a desire to truly connect with the person in front of you.
Hmm.
And, you know, that leads us back to one of the core messages that runs throughout Never Eat Alone,
Mhm.
the idea of generosity.
Yeah.
I love how Ferrazzi emphasizes this not just as a nice thing to do, but as a fundamental principle for building strong, lasting relationships.
Generosity really is the heartbeat of any thriving network.
Yeah.
And it's not about keeping score or expecting something in return. It's about giving freely, offering value to others without any strings attached.
Mhm.
It could be sharing your knowledge,
Right.
making a helpful introduction, or just being there to offer support when someone needs it.
It's about creating a culture of abundance and support,
Uh-huh.
where everyone feels empowered to give and receive.
Exactly.
And the beautiful thing is that generosity tends to be contagious. When you give freely, it inspires others to do the same.
Yeah.
And it creates this ripple effect of goodwill and positive energy throughout your network.
Absolutely. And you never know how those small acts of generosity might come back to you in unexpected ways down the road.
Right.
Sometimes it's not about a direct quid pro quo,
Mm.
but about the overall sense of trust and reciprocity that you build within your network. People remember those who helped them, who showed up for them, who were genuinely invested in their success.
So true. Okay, as we wrap up this incredible deep dive into Never Eat Alone, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. If you had to pick just one key takeaway for our listener, what would it be? What's the one thing you hope they'll walk away with and start applying in their own lives today?
If I had to choose just one, it would be this. Never underestimate the power of a simple ping.
Okay.
Those small, consistent interactions,
Mm-hmm.
a thoughtful comment, a quick email,
Yeah.
a text checking in.
Right.
Those are the building blocks of strong, lasting relationships. So think about who you could ping today.
Okay.
Someone you've been meaning to reconnect with, a former colleague,
Yeah.
a mentor, even someone you admire from afar. You never know where that simple act of connection might lead.
That's such great advice. And for those who want to really dive deep into the world of strategic relationship building, I can't recommend Never Eat Alone enough. It's filled with practical advice, inspiring stories, and it's a fantastic guide to creating a network that supports your ambitions, enriches your life, and honestly just makes the world a better place.
Couldn't agree more. Building meaningful connections is one of the most rewarding and fulfilling things we can do in life. So get out there, start connecting, and never eat alone.